Ayy, roll up my back, wouldn't let me get high. Keep this money by my side, I had to sacrifice.
What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to a brand new video. Before we hop into it, I would just like to say, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and a comment on how you thought this video went, what your thoughts on it were. And also check out my Twitter, it'll be down below, it'll be linked in the description. And without further ado, let's get in the video. Christian Wood has had one of the craziest come-up stories in recent NBA history. Christian's rise to stardom seemed like it came out of nowhere, but it didn't always look like it was meant to be. The NBA draft is supposed to be one of the greatest nights of a future pro's life. In Wood's case, it was the worst. Wood declared for the NBA draft when he was 19 years old and just coming off his sophomore season at UNLV. The lengthy prospect was projected to be a late first-round pick, but as the draft crept closer, his stock would plummet. He lacked effort and looked sluggish when he played. A longtime skills coach of Wood would tell him, "You just gotta fake it a little bit, at least for the scouts watching." Conversations like these were nothing new for Wood. He was a natural when it came to the game of basketball. It was no doubt that he had what it took to make the NBA, but his lack of urgency and unappealing work ethic would be the deciding factor that would drive NBA scouts and organizations away. On the night of the NBA draft, Wood rented an event space at Caesar's Palace to celebrate with a few friends and family. The start of the night, Woods was so excited, anticipating hearing his name called and finally starting his next chapter in life. Christian watched in horror as his name went uncalled in the first round and in the second round. Wood's night was ruined. A picture leaked from Wood's party says it all. Woods was down big time, and somehow this would not be the end of his misery. In an interview, Wood goes on to say, "I lost my girlfriend that night too. I dropped her off at the airport after the draft and never saw her again." They're probably one of the worst summer nights anyone could ever experience. Christian Wood would push forward and join the Houston Rockets for Summer League before signing with the Sixers for training camp. The Sixers' brand new prospect showed flashes early on that he could be something great, but he was forced to fight for minutes against top picks Nerlens Noel and Jahlil Okafor. Later on, Woods was waived by the Sixers and would spend the rest of his time shuttling between Philly and their D-League team in Delaware. Wood would play extremely well for Delaware, scoring a career-high 45 points in a single night. Despite this, 76ers front office decided to end their drawn-out rebuild. Wood did not attract the Sixers, and it didn't help that Wood was with Okafor the night the former number 3 pick was caught by cell phone cameras drunkenly stumbling through Boston and fighting spectators in the streets. Even though Wood himself hadn't caused any trouble, another label had struck and Wood was caught in a bad situation. Wood's next chapter was in Charlotte with the Hornets, except the situation was similar to the one he had in Philly. More minutes in the G League than the NBA, showing flashes of talent, frustration from the coaching staff, and in this case the team's legendary owner and arguably the best player of all time, Michael Jordan. In the offseason, the Hornets would pass on re-signing Wood, and his tenure in Charlotte would come to an end. Woods played on 2 different summer league teams but could not find his way on an NBA roster. He headed over to China to sign with the Fusion Sturgeons, only to be cut before the season had even started. It seems as if Christian would never find his home in the NBA. Somehow after his disastrous NBA draft night, Woods would hit a new all-time low. "Nobody wanted me," he told the reporters. "To get cut from a team in China because they tell me I wasn't good enough, that really tested me. That was the breaking point." With his options slim and his chances running out, Woods returned to America and signed with the Delaware G League team once again in 2017, where he averaged 23.3 points and 14.4 rebounds per game. Despite these numbers, no one wanted him. With the 76ers front court already being loaded, Elton Brand would reach out to other teams around the NBA to give Wood another shot. No one would bite. Woods returned to Vegas that summer, and his trainer immediately noticed a change to Woods. Woods wasn't just showing up every day, he was showing up on time. No more trips to LA, no more procrastinating workouts. In past years, Abanasar, his trainer, would rapidly change drills, talk non-stop, and place a defender in front of Woods to keep him engaged. This was no longer needed. Woods was motivated than ever. Woods would go on to link up with the Bucks Summer League team in 2018, earning first-team honors and signing a contract with them before the season started. Once again, he spent the year back and forth between the NBA and the G League, despite averaging nearly 30 points per game. There was no doubt that Woods was frustrated, but he also says the situation led to his growth. Woods got to watch Giannis up and close every day, and it opened his mind up. He saw Giannis in the gym. Every day, Giannis was only worried about family, basketball, weights, and getting in the gym. The two would go on to form a special relationship, something that Christian desperately needed to turn his life around. Giannis was the first person to compliment Wood's work ethic, telling the world that Christian Wood was up next. Although Woods never did crack the Bucks' rotation, they did not hesitate to tell the rest of the league about how impressed they were with how his habits have changed and improved throughout the year. Due to an injury to Eric Bledsoe, the Bucks were forced to pick up another ball handler. Once again, Woods was cut. The Pelicans scooped him up, and Woods would average 16.9 points and 7.9 rebounds over the season's final 8 games, impressing many but not enough to earn a roster spot in New Orleans. 14 teams would pass on Woods before finding a spot in Detroit. Wood was forced to compete for a roster spot against the 38-year-old longtime vet, Joe Johnson. We've seen how this has gone before, right? The only thing is, Woods was not only a better player, but a better person. His shooting improved, he was stronger. Not only did he beat out Johnson, but he would pass Thonmaker in the rotation. When Blake Griffin got injured, Wood would finally crack the starting lineup. After this, the longtime Pistons star, who was recently traded to the Cavaliers, sent him a picture of a man passing the torch. It was time for Wood to make his mark. Wood showed flashes of all-star talent, going on a stretch averaging 22.8 points and 9.9 rebounds per game. Wood would go on to leave Detroit, landing a 3-year, $41 million contract with the Houston Rockets. Wood stayed in the gym and kept putting in the work. So far in this early NBA season, Wood is looking like an all-star, averaging nearly 24 points and 11 rebounds a night. The pairing between Rockets superstar and their newly found big man look like it might be enough to convince Harden to stay. Houston is scary, and if Harden decides to stay, the Houston Rockets should be praising Christian Wood. Wood struggled to find his way into the NBA, facing countless trials and being tested every year before finally finding a home in the league. Let me know what your thoughts are on Christian Wood. It's great to finally see him succeed after being written off for so long. Do you think he has all-star caliber talent? Let me know down below.